Okay, hello. So I'm going to pose Mr. Clarence Francis, aka Doc, half of Doc and Chip of the
Correct.
L.A.M.P organization.
Right.
Tell us more about the L.A.M.P organization.
All right. So L.A.M.P was an organization started by myself and Lloyd, aka Chip, and we're an organization that's linking nonprofits with resources to create a larger impact on the community. So what we're doing is really fulfilling our purpose. L.A.M.P means living a meaningful purpose, and that's what we're doing.
Awesome, awesome. And we actually have some collab stuff coming up, some great events, right?
Yes, I'm excited about that.
I am excited about that.
Yes.
So anybody who knows this gentleman also knows that he's inquisitive and he's insightful. And we've had a lot of conversations about different topics that are
Yeah.
yeah. So we're gonna just jump right on into it, right?
All right. I'm ready.
My question is about marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that marriage is an outdated concept, or do you think?
I think overall it's evolved. I won't say it's outdated
Okay.
because marriage is still beneficial.
Okay.
And I think it's even more so beneficial depending on the way you want to go about looking at it. You know,
All right.
It's all about your perspective.
Okay.
So here in America, of course, a lot of it has to do with money. And
Okay.
a lot of people are now seeing marriage as a business
It is.
rather than something you do when you love someone and just want to start a family. Right?
Okay, that's one way to look at it.
And so I feel like it's evolved because back in the day, most marriages consisted of the guy working and the lady staying at home raising the kids.
Okay.
Now you need two people in the household working if you want to live a certain lifestyle. And nowadays, there's a lot of ladies that are making more money than men.
Okay.
So they're not staying at home just to watch the kids, right?
Okay.
Sometimes the roles are reversed. Sometimes you may have a guy
Stay home and watch the
watching the
kids.
kids while she's at work or he's going to school trying to better himself. Whatever the
Okay.
situation is. But I think it's evolved to where now it's more of a business decision versus a love and happiness decision.
Okay,
So,
that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
I can see that. But do you think that's why businesses, that whole business concept or that business tied into marriage, forces people to want to not make it a marriage but make it a life partnership? Because a lot of times people have these open marriages are getting very, very popular, or not getting married and having life partners getting, kind of popular. So do you think because they've carved out that sort of love element and made it more business-like, do you think that's why people are less monogamous? Or do you think it's just because people know monogamy is not a part of people's lifestyle, so they kind of just adjust into?
I think it's more of an adjustment. Like I
Like
said, so
living in the reality of.
yeah, so people are kind of like stepping back and saying, okay, should I get married? What are the benefits of me getting married? I love this person, but
Right.
at the same time, if you're marrying someone, you want them to better yourself.
True.
And you want to be able to be
Wanna
that
grow.
person that can better them.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You want them
Right.
to grow so y'all can grow together. And so if you sit back and think about it, two organizations only gonna come together if they get some type of benefit from each other.
Right.
So you're not gonna join in with another organization and you're helping them grow and they're not really doing much for you, right?
I agree.
You're gonna come together and merge because both of you are gonna benefit. And so I think that's the way people are looking at it now. It's not about, of course.
So sex is not a part of marriage? Like, I feel like I'm talking about this whole concept of, people, like you said, I agree with you. People have focused more on, we have to grow each other. It can't be just you have this particular role and I'm going to squeeze you into this particular role and then that's just how we're going to live out the rest of our lives. I think growth has become very prominent in our interactions with people. I guess my question is the intimacy part and the love part. It looks different. It literally looks different inside of relationships. Do you agree that monogamy should be a part of it or not?
I do agree. I do actually agree. If you're gonna take the steps to get married, you should be monogamous.
Okay.
There's reasons to that also, because unless you, of course, agree to have an open marriage.
Why would anybody do that?
I mean, this depends on their prerogative. They may say, "Hey, we're good business partners,
Right.
and what you do in the summertime or in Vegas, don't tell me about it. As long as you don't bring it back home and do this, do that."
What?
Or they may partake in what they call a swinger activities.
Swinger, okay. As long as I know about it.
Right.
Some people say don't tell me. Some people say as long as I choose, as long as I know.
Mhm. And the thing is, I think that's fine as long as you disclose that up front.
Have that conversation.
Because
Absolutely.
I know people that do that. And if they tell you up front, hey, this is what it is, this is my lifestyle, feel free, hey, date me or not, that's cool. As long as they tell you up front, but you don't want somebody and you start dating them and then by the time you get married, you find out, oh, well, they're really a swinger or they're in this type of lifestyle.
Yes. You know what? You sent me an article about that, a couple that actually got divorced, and they gave about 5 tips on what people should do before they get married. And one of the things that they talked about, they highlighted, was communicating about what you want, knowing who you are, communicating about what you want going in, right? Oftentimes we date the facade of, or we get lost in the nostalgia of this new person, and so we don't dig.
They have to take their time, right? Take your time.
Well, and take your time. Obviously, of course, the guy would catch the take your time part. But for me, I think as we get older, you can cut past a lot of you can get to the meat faster because we already know what we're looking for. We already know.
Yeah. I think especially when you get older.
Yeah.
You know, I think time is more valuable when you get older versus when you're
So you cut the crap.
20, 21 years old. It's like, I just do whatever.
Yeah. You almost don't want to date the facade. You're almost annoyed when the person is presenting.
Yeah, because you're like, okay, when's the real you coming
Gonna
out?
show up, right?
So it's always good to be the real you. For one, you want to be accepted for who you are.
That part.
Anyway.
That part.
You don't want someone to like you because of who they thought you were.
Or worse, you like them because of who you thought they were.
Right. So
that brings me to my next point. Maya Angelou said, if a person shows you who they are, believe them, right? But what if they show you something different for like the first 4 months? So now you believe the first 4 month person.
Well, I mean, after 4 months, that's pretty much who you are, right?
You would hope, but I think people can hold a facade up for about a good 6 months, really.
Because I'm thinking like after maybe the 3rd, 4th date, you will see that real personality.
If you're paying attention, if you're looking for it, but I would say that it's like a fire, and I think that what we do is we feed logs to whatever that facade is. So, for example, if you tell me that you are a certain way, everything I do plays into that. Okay. So you're almost like you have soft reminders even in my conversation of who you said you were. So
right.
You know what I'm saying? You're constantly playing off that person's.
So I think the way to get around that or to see through that is to ask a lot of questions.
But y'all don't like people that ask a lot of questions.
Well, that's the thing.
I actually don't like people that ask me a lot of questions.
You should. You should, because that means they're interested.
Wearing me out. It should be a natural flow. I do think that it shouldn't be an interview. Right. Like it should be like,
what do you like? What do you think about this? And how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
And like you said, not an interview type scenario where, hey, I got a list of 21 questions. Like 50 said,
Question number 1.
You get mad when I ask you 21 questions.
That part.
You get mad though. So you might get mad when I ask you 21 questions. But if they're not asking any questions.
And they're not asking any relevant questions. Like, what's my favorite color?
Yeah, that's later down the line.
You would think.
That's down the line.
You would think.
You want to know like more of the
meat, like.
Yeah. Do you how do you feel about family? Are you in, if especially you're asking questions that are important to
Yes,
you,
to you. True.
not just general questions.
Right.
So these would be questions that I'm like, okay, this is what I feel strongly about.
Okay.
If I'm the type of person that feels like, hey, I'm really close to my mom and dad, and
Right.
I want someone that's gonna be right there mixed in my family as well.
Right.
And then I find out that you, the person I'm dating, is like,
not into
I don't.
You almost try to
I talk to
isolate
him
me.
once or twice a month, maybe.
Yeah, you're not a family person.
Yeah.
Well, there's this another confusing thing, I would say, that space between divulging too much information and having the person try to adjust to what you tell them, or asking an open-end question that lets that person tell you who they are. Good example is the question you just asked. How do you feel about family?
Yeah.
That's open-end. A lot of times if you give too much information, the person will try to mirror what you say.
That's they running their game.
They are again. So I think what we have to explore is what are good date questions. Like what are good, I'm trying to get to know you for real, and who you are as a person and what you value. Like without giving that person too much of.
I see what you're saying. You don't want to play your hand to where it's like, okay, I see what you're about, so now I'm gonna pretend that's a wolf and
camouflage.
Yeah.
I'm gonna metamorphosize.
Yeah. What we call it is a wolf in sheep clothing.
Yeah.
So you're really a wolf, but you sliding up in there like, okay, I know she likes family. I know she likes playing pool, and I know she likes Beyonce.
Yeah.
So now when Beyonce come on, I'll be like, oh yeah.
I'm into that now. And
if you like it, I'm gonna put a ring on it.
And that's what I'm saying. And so I'm saying, month 1, month 2, you find out that she's into family. So now you tell her you're into family. So you're dragging her. She's dragging you to the family events. So the first one you good.
Yeah.
You can handle it. Second one you all right. Third one, you rolling your eyes, but you tolerate it.
Yeah.
Fourth one, you know what I'm saying? So it starts to wear thin, but it takes a while.
Right.
So now you dated the facade.
So you dated the facade, but you got to realize the wolf in sheep clothing, and I'm trying to not divulge too much.
Yeah, and women do it too. So it's not like we're trying to pick on guys. Like women, y'all lie, y'all pretend.
And that's true, but usually the guy pursues the woman, right?
Usually, no. Well, women are the neck. Men are the head, women are the neck. What women do, especially women who are clever and smart and all that good stuff, that stay in feminine flow, they know how to make you feel like it's your idea. Yeah, they know how to do that. They know how to have the conversation and have you tell what you need, and then you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So you know how to do that?
I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. That's not something I have to do.
You know women that do that.
I am. Yeah,
Okay.
they do. They listen to what the person is saying. They're good listeners.
So if I'm like, oh, I like sports, then
that's more of an obvious one. I mean, that's kind of like
they're gonna go to the sports bar with me, or
they'll definitely go to the sports bar with you. Yeah, but they don't. No.
Give me an example, so I know.
Ooh, I don't know because I'm not like that. Let me see.
I mean, if I like
you say you like
playing golf and they buy me, some clubs.
You're into golf.
Or what?
You're into golf. You're into golf. So
isn't that just being nice though, or no?
See, this is where it gets tricky. This is where the trickiness comes in. So if a woman takes the time to get to know what you like, and then she sets up a date, like a Top Golf. You say you like golf.
Right.
Oh, I'm taking the Top Golf.
That's nice.
That's sweet. But if a guy does it, he a wolf in sheep's clothing?
No. Actually, he's paying attention to her needs, or not to what her likes are.
Right. When does it become a wolf in sheep's clothing deception?
Okay, so I think you have to do a lot of observing.
Okay.
So you're gonna ask questions, but at the same time, do a lot of observing, meaning just how they interact with you, and if y'all go out, how are they interacting with the waiting staff. You know, how are they
That's good.
interacting as far as, for instance, if you like chivalry, if that's the
You
first
guys
code,
know I like chivalry.
if
I
you
bring it up every time.
if you love chivalry,
Right.
you want to see, okay, is he automatically opening doors, or is
Absolutely.
he automatically pulling
Is
out
it-
my chair? Is he automatically being a gentleman like
Yeah,
that?
Yeah.
Walking on this side of the road while we're going down, you know.
Absolutely.
So you're kind of observing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think what happens is when y'all talk about it, hey, so what do you feel about chivalry? How do you feel about that? Depending on what he says, it may or may not be a match. However, if it's not a big deal for him to make any adjustments without him losing himself or his identity,
Right.
then that's where further down the line you can see, okay, is this person's actions based on what we've talked about, is he kind of changing without it being an issue, or him bringing it up and throwing it back in my face? Because a lot of people will do something for you and say,
And then
well,
they'll bring it back up. Yeah.
you know,
That's
I did this
real.
for you, I did that for you, why can't you do this? And it's like, you're going to do something for someone,
Just do it. Yeah.
just do it because
Yeah.
you want to.
That part.
Not because you're expecting something else.
in return. That
Right.
part. Well, my scope on the whole, how I approach, even in something that's like chivalry. What I was told to do by my parent is don't go so much on what a guy says, go by what he does. Right?
They was right.
That part. Now, what I will say is, if we're having a conversation and I notice that they're not very chivalrous, but there are other qualities about that person that I really, really enjoy, then I'll ask them about it. I'll say, hey, is that not your thing? Or how do you feel about that? I'll ask. And if they tell me that, if they give me their scope, for instance, they don't know to do it, or they weren't raised to do it, or they weren't taught,
Right.
then that's something I have to decide if I'm willing to sort of be patient about.
That's a good point.
Right, but if going in, if you already are chivalrous, I mean, that's something I don't have to. I'm good.
You good. That's,
What?
you already in the door. 1 foot.
When I
already in
foot,
the door.
I don't know about all the way up. Take it too far.
But that's a good point, because you
yeah.
was like, what if they weren't raised in that environment?
Right. You
So
have to-
how would they know?
How would they even know?
What?
But they have to be honest about that. They can't get egotistical about it and say, well, I'm not into that. I don't do that. Like, and there's a lot of women that don't require that, so they might feel a way. But if you're trying to be with me, then that's something we're gonna have to work on. And we talked about this, the whole chivalry thing. A lot of people get really wrapped up in the opening of the doors and that matters, right? But it's just showing appreciation. It's just showing without having to say it. It's body language, which is huge. Body language is so huge. You ever looked at a picture and people are like, they're a couple and they're sitting like us?
Okay.
Like they're a couple, but they have this gap.
A little, yeah, I've seen that.
You know what I'm saying? I've noticed that guys that are really into the girl, they're almost, you know what I'm saying? They lean. That lean is real. Like that leaning is real. So
And that's, you can see.
it means something.
You can see that.
It means something. So guys, I watch that. I watch if he's reaching for me. I watch if guys like they like
If you turn towards you.
they protect what they like.
Yeah, that's true.
They guard what they like. You can't mess with their, if they're into video games, try to mess up their video game. Like, if they're into their car, try to mess over their car. Like,
They're going to be protected.
They're very protective of what they like and what they value. So if they're not trying to protect you, or they're not trying to guard you or let people know this person is mine, this is my stuff. Very possessive people. They're possessive beings. If that's not happening, you might not be her. Or him if you're gay. I don't know. But you might not be, you might not be the one, is all I'm saying. So
yeah, that's true. The body language tells a lot. It's like, okay, if you, like you mentioned, it could be anything. Somebody in a picture, and it's like you can feel the vibe.
you can, yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, there's something going on.
Yes.
But however, people can fake it till they make it.
That part.
You know?
That part. And that's sad. Like, don't be that person.
Yeah, but it's the action. So if you're holding a conversation, are you really engaged into that conversation, or
Yeah.
are you like you're hearing a word or two and you on your phone every so often, checking your phone? Then
That
that's a
part.
sign. So you got to pick up all
You
these
gotta be looking
things.
for it. You gotta
This
be
is-
looking for it.
And this is
Almost.
the first few dates, right? So
This is period, point blank, forever and ever, amen.
even in the relationship,
In the relationship.
even deep down in the relationship, like a year inside, right?
But let's be real about it. You can feel distance. You can kind of feel your relationship going up in smoke. Like you can feel when the person's not reaching. When y'all stop reaching, even across the car, like reaching to hold hands, reaching to, leaning into you. You can feel the distance,
So
and it feels like rejection to me.
okay, now it could be a lot of things.
Okay.
What you said though is rejection, which is probably true.
Right.
But the intent, it could be not intended to be rejection because maybe
Yeah.
they're stressed out over their
Something
job.
else, or, yeah.
Maybe it's something that's stressing them out, and that's where
That's where you communicate.
you communicate. Yeah, you have to. It's a lot. Like it's a hard work. It's a hard work to be married.
It's hard to be in a relationship. It's hard to be in a relationship with anybody.
Yeah.
When you add like the love of a man, if you add ethos into the mix, it gets really like different because now you have intimacy and you're giving.
Yeah.
Like sex is the closest two people can physically get. Like
Yeah.
so people underestimate that. I think people play that down a lot.
Yeah.
It can get complicated.
I mean, my whole thing is you want to be with someone that it's easy. That's what my thing is.
Easy when it's easy.
It's like I can easily talk to you,
Right.
or I can easily communicate with you.
Right.
And it's not always easy, but you want to feel like okay. That's what people say. Okay, I want this person to be my friend. Also, because if it's your friend, you can easily talk to them. If it's just a sex partner or lover,
That's a whole different part of the brain.
yeah,
That's a whole
you're
different
not
part of the
thinking that
brain.
way. But if it's
Yeah.
a good friend and like I say a partner, you can talk to them without feeling like they're going to judge you. They're
That
going
part.
to throw something back in
your
your
face,
face. They're
that.
not going to look down on you, which is judgment. So this is somebody that's going to help you.
And on top of all
Right.
that.
So that's why
yeah.
you got to find that partner where you can help each other. When you're down, I can help you up, and now you're down, vice versa. I can help you up.
Right, right.
So you got to be something.
And they almost have to prove that they have the capacity to help you.
Yeah. Explain that a little bit.
So, a lot of times we look at, that's why people get kind of caught up in pedigree, or they get caught up in what you're doing. What are you doing right now? What do you have going on right now? Like, if I have a down, do you have the capacity to help me up? Whether it be I can bounce off of you mentally, like you have the mental fortitude to help me, or financially, do you have the financial fortitude to help me, or spiritually, or all of those things. Like you should be sizing up whether in y'all dating situation and look at, like you said, look at how they handle people around them. Do they have the fortitude to even, or the capacity to even do that? You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. So it's like,
It's not just about me liking you. Can you, if it got down to it?
yeah, and it's kind of like, is this person able to, if I'm down, are they just gonna keep piling on it? Maybe they're so selfish to where they're gonna just,
That part.
dang, you're down too. Shit, I'm down myself.
No, that ain't-
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
So it's
That's
like,
what I mean by
what you-
capacity.
now what you
Right,
got?
right,
Like, you
like-
both down. Who gonna?
Who helping who?
So it's like, dang.
Like who help? I mean, no, they don't have the ability to strategize. They don't have the ability to execute. They don't have the ability to do. All they can do is rub you on your head and say, "Yeah, me too."
Right.
What?
Yeah. So it's you got to find the key word, compatibility.
That compatibility. That's
And
huge.
which takes, I think, even longer now.
Yes.
Kind of going back to where we started.
You in this longer.
It takes longer to realize the compatibility because back in the day, it was kind of set for you when you got married. It was already
You already knew
set
your roles. So if
Now
you
the roles
cook,
are different.
dance, clean. Like if you could fulfill this job description,
Yeah.
then you were qualified.
Yeah.
Whereas now, you might work and I might work. So now
What-
so many
what's
more
the roles
jobs.
now?
So yeah, so many descriptions each
You know.
gender feels.
What kind of lifestyle you want to live now?
How can we offset? Yeah.
I mean, it was different back in the day. That's why divorce rates are much higher now than they were back in the day.
I would say it's a little deeper than that though.
Mhm.
Divorce. I agree with that, but I feel like it's a little deeper than that. I think divorce rates are higher, and I'm attributing it to what you're saying. The whole roles in relationships have been so skewed that people, something like chivalry gets lost in the sauce. So that space of taking the time to appreciate that person's role in your life has gone completely like out the window. It's like, how do you in an everyday situation without taking them to dinner or without having to like hold their hand and say thank you, like without the extras, just in our daily movement, how do you show the person that I care? Like if I go and fix him some food and I put it in front of him and he says thank you, that's a natural flow of energy of gratefulness, I think, between the two of us, right? Or if he opens my door, and that's why people underestimate chivalry because they're thinking like checkers and not chess. I think it's just we don't, as humans, appreciate each other in a natural. When people walk through the door, you hold the door open for somebody, they don't say thank you. Do you feel some type of way?
I'll be like, well, next time I ain't opening the door.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to hold the door open for them. They came to the door. They know how to open their own
And
door.
you might take it out on the next person.
You might take it out on the next person.
Which is like a relationship. You might
It's
have that,
the same energy.
You carry that baggage and be like, well, the last 3 people I held the door for, they didn't even
say thank you.
And the next person might appreciate it, but you don't hold the door open for them because you're like, they don't care about that.
They don't care about that anymore.
Which is kind of where you at.
What you mean?
That's what I felt about you for a second.
What?
Because I know it was a lot of ladies that feel like, I don't need you to do this, or I don't have to do that because I'm independent. I don't need this or that. And it's kind of like when you were talking about chivalry, it's like, well, shoot. I mean, some of this things you're talking about, yeah, still do, but the other half is like nobody cares about that. But because if it was done, maybe they didn't show appreciation for it. So it's like, what's the purpose of doing it for?
It's very, very
they
possible.
Don't care.
And that lost gratefulness, grace, mercy, forgiveness, all of those things in our daily interactions are dying. It's a dying art. It's a dying art form. And we're trying to figure out why people are getting divorced and then we break it down to that's communication, but some rejection happens inside of their relationship and it doesn't get communicated. And that rejection comes in the small things, like he's not reaching for my hand, or she didn't fix my food, or she didn't say thank you, or she doesn't notice that I'm doing this for her. He doesn't notice that I'm doing this for him.
Yeah. Maybe those small
pockets
explode into something bigger.
Or small, as they say in church, small foxes. You know what I'm saying? You let those things in and then they get bigger. They grow fast.
That's where I feel like communication is the key.
At the root.
And it's like if you don't have communication, it's almost like a failure. Like it's 90% is gonna fail if you don't communicate.
Okay, well let's talk about effective communication though. Because we could argue about this water, right? But is the argument really about this water, or is the argument about something that I did 3 weeks ago that you call yourself not being confrontational and you just swept it under the rug because it's not really a big deal and I'm not even gonna trip right now because I don't feel like talking about it. So 3 weeks later,
right,
we arguing about
that you didn't get Aquafina.
Why you know I drink Aquafina? You
So,
you drank from my water. Like what?
I mean, that's okay. So timing also. You need to be able to. One of my pet peeves is like, don't bring up something that happened 2 weeks ago, and
it
say,
takes me 2 weeks to process.
I didn't like. No.
It takes me 2 weeks to process how I feel. Okay.
And then 2 weeks later, it's like, well, you didn't even offer me nothing. You didn't do this for me or buy me a drink when such and such. And then it's like, let me know at that time that, hey, this is how you felt. And we can squash it then. So that way, 2 weeks later,
Okay.
we don't have to bring it up again. It's already
Okay.
squashed. We already talked about it. We already moved past it. And now, it's not going to be an issue if you do something else. You know what I'm saying?
If I bring it up, do you lawyer up?
Do I what?
Lawyer up. That's what I call it. When people get defensive and you tell them how you feel attacked. Listen, I was told if you shoot me on purpose or if you shoot me on accident, I'm still shot, right? So I'm telling you how something made me feel, and instead of you being like, you know what, I hear you. My bad that you feel like that. You know, I wasn't trying to do that. This is what I was actually trying to do. But if it made you feel this way, then I apologize. No. What most people do is they lawyer up. They get defensive. Well, that's not, you took it wrong, and I'm not about to apologize for something that you took wrong. Like,
well, then that's when, if that keeps coming up.
you gotta keep coming up.
If that, okay, so
I thought we were trying to nip it in the bud. Why can't you just nip it in the bud?
So this is the thing, though. This is the thing. It's all about compatibility, right?
Yes.
So this is the thing where people make the biggest mistakes.
Okay.
You are trying to, your boundaries are set. You set your boundaries, right?
Okay.
So if you say, hey, this made me feel this way. I didn't feel too great about how this went down, this and that. If this is starting to happen every time y'all go out, then you're going to start to say, okay, you know what? Maybe we're not compatible. Maybe we need to, either slow down or just be friends for now and really find out, is this the person I want to date or be with? Because after a certain period of time, if someone is always saying, hey, I don't like this, I didn't feel like great about this when you did that, after a certain period of time, they're going to take it as you're just complaining.
Yeah, you don't like
me.
me.
Just have a bad attitude. You don't like nothing. So at that point in time, you got to sit back and say, okay, are we really compatible? Because if the person you like automatically will probably do all these things that you like.
Right.
And it's, like I said, it's much easier.
You think it's automatic? I feel like it's a constant learning process. I feel like there's no way. I've been on Earth almost, I don't get into it, over 30 years. And and I'm saying that there's I've accumulated a lot of feelings about a lot of different, nuances about life and whatever. And so we're going to have major things in common, and we're going to have things that we just don't have in common. But, and I get what you're saying, if that person just can't get right, maybe y'all just need to be cool.
Yeah.
But if I come to you, I'm talking about communication and people, going back to effective communication. I come to you, I say, sir, the way you did that thing you said the other day in front of those people, I don't get down like that. That's not my, I didn't. And women, we have to speak to men like men. Like, you can't talk to a man like a child. Men, you can't talk to women like children. You have to talk to people with some respect. So let's say I come to you respectfully and I'm saying,
how would you say this?
Sir.
Okay.
Doc. I didn't care for, I appreciate you taking me to the event. The event was nice. I enjoyed myself. But when you said what you said in the group setting, I really took that, and maybe I'm taking it wrong, but I took it the wrong way, and I felt some type of way. I didn't like it, or I didn't like how you handled the lady who came, she was flirting and you didn't shut it down. I didn't like that. So that made me feel away.
No, so the way you presented that is not how most women present it.
That's why I made the disclaimer.
That's the difference.
Okay, but even if her emotions are high, she said, how you gonna get in front of these people and talk to this girl like this and da 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 da? I mean, like, I'm not standing there.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's a little different. So
what's your?
It's like you have to realize the delivery. So your delivery was like,
I agree,
in a respectful type manner. It was like, okay, your intent may not have been to disrespect me in front of this group of people, but this is how I felt
disrespected.
So that's much different than coming at somebody or not bringing it up and then acting funny with them, and then when you acting funny to where it's like, dang, what's wrong with you? Why you acting funny? Oh, well, you wasn't saying that when you was doing this all in her face.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, you could have just told me this and we would have talked about it. You know what I'm saying?
You
But
can't
now
always control that though. You can't always control what emotions will do. Like your emotions definitely don't control your reasoning.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying
I do agree.
if you get wrapped up in the delivery, you still not getting. Now you're on the defense. Now we're communicating, but it's still not effective because now you're defending. Look,
so now you gotta. Okay, so in situations like that, you gotta work harder at communication.
That part.
So once again, it goes back to if you're really, really compatible, a lot of these things won't come up, and even the way you communicate won't be an issue.
I think it's a maturity thing.
Yeah, it's a maturity thing as well, and like I said, even if you're compatible, it's like how we communicate.
Mm-hmm.
That may be something that you may be able to just say whatever,
right?
And I'd be like, oh, you know what? Okay, my bad.
And it'll be
and
done
happen again, and give us a hug and everything.
I'm saying,
and it might be done, but it just depends on the communication, the way it's delivered, and if you're okay with that.
But your response, like you could dead the situation. Like if she's in or he, if she or he is well within their right to feel away in their mind, and they go left for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. How much do you listen for understanding and try to deaden the situation? Like how much do you lead with ego and how much do you lead with love? Because ego, as I know it, is easing God out or easing love out, right? Mm-hmm. So if you lead with ego, mm-hmm. then you're going to hear...
It's going to be selfish.
You're going to hear, yeah.
And so the thing is, and this is my tip as far as how to handle it.
Okay, what tip away?
It's the way you handle it, especially in a situation like that, is never get overly sensitive. As far as on the male side.
Well, female side too.
Females also.
Try to put that on the lid.
For sure, I know on the guy side, you don't want to get overly emotional and be like, well, dang, why you don't like this? Always treat it as like, okay, you may be emotional. You feel like I did something wrong. You know what? Let's hug it out. Let's,
I ain't trying
we
to hug
gonna, maybe make a little playful joke or something.
You're a country.
And say, you know what? My bad. Just next time I'm gonna do this and do that, and give them the solution of how you're gonna handle it next time. I won't do that no more. And you my only one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, you're still mad for the moment.
Right.
But 2-3 hours later, it's like, okay, it's done.
I'm trying to tell you can't do it no more. Is what I'm saying.
Right. But versus arguing about it and going back and forth for 2-3 hours, you can either joke it off and play it off and still respect them and respect their wishes.
Okay. So it sounds like you're saying don't empower the negativity with more negativity.
Right.
And I get that.
It's gonna prolong.
I don't know about the joking part.
A playful joke, like.
I don't know about that playing part.
Like, look, boo.
But
see, you laughing.
I'm laughing now because I ain't mad. But all the 504 joke if you want to.
Oh.
But yeah, okay, I get you. So don't empower negativity with negativity. I got it, guys.
Yeah, that's effective communication. But like I said,
words of wisdom from Doc.
Yeah, you can't.
You gotta finesse that thing. You gotta. That's what he just basically. See, you think I can't hear it, but I can hear that. You gotta finesse it. You can't give her the leeway of letting it grow.
You can't let none of that grow.
You can't let it grow. You gotta almost.
And that's hard to do if you're not used to just stepping back and say, hey, that's your ego.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you can't talk to me like that. I'm
a grown man.
I ain't really do nothing.
We know that already. We know you're a man.
I could be like, I ain't do nothing. It wasn't even like that.
It wasn't even like that. Quit tripping.
Nah, and that can lead to an argument for days. Or you could sit back and say, you know what?
Kill it.
My bad, boo. You're the only one for me.
But most of y'all know how to. This is what makes me mad. At least for people that I deal with. I deal with pretty intelligent people. So I feel like y'all know how to. Y'all know y'all girl. And I feel like y'all know how to get them straight or nip it in the bud. But y'all somehow get some type of rise out of having them act cuckoo for cocoa nuts. So I'm just trying to figure out why.
Wait, Coco, what?
Nuts! Nuts! So I'm trying to figure out why even let it go that far? Like, especially if you know you're wrong, like quit tripping. If you know you did something out of line, or something that's out of line for her, because even if you didn't mean anything by it, if you know she feel away, why not just smooth that thing, just sandpaper that thing?
Well,
She can't run. I mean, she know how far she can go and how far she can't go. It's okay to nip it in the bud every now and then, man. Look, you know.
mm-hmm.
But even that doesn't have to be. I just feel like y'all take it too far. I feel like y'all string it out. I feel like y'all string it out when y'all don't have to.
You don't have to string it out. And the thing is,
Y'all can know something wrong and ignore it. You could feel her heat in the passenger seat. You could see her feeling away, and you be like,
y'all don't say what's wrong anyway. So
neither do y'all. You serious?
you don't be like, oh,
is he serious right now?
Like nothing's wrong. It's all good. But it's like,
Why you do that?
I think a little bit of balance. Balance is always good.
Balance is good.
You don't want it to be extremely, like after a while it's like everything's perfect. You get bored. That's just human nature.
Yeah, it's a little friction.
It's just human nature. No matter who you are,
A little friction.
you'll struggle with, dang, this is like perfect. We're not, you know.
How can you grow like that? I don't even know if you can grow. Can you grow like that?
I don't think so.
Are growing pains necessary?
I think so. I think it's a good balance. You have to have some type of growing pain to grow.
So should you be with somebody that is extra easy to be with, or should you be with somebody that makes you a little uncomfortable? Da, da, da.
I don't know. Depending on what they say, I don't know.
That part. So we want you guys to let us know, are growing pains necessary? And we're going to come back and do this again with Doc of Doc and Chip.
Yes. Catch
L.A.M.P
the drip.
organization. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
L.A.M.P organization.
L.A.M.P
Catch the drip. Doc and Chip. We'll see you next time.
Hashtag party with a purpose.
Party with a purpose all the time.
All right, so thank you for joining us at experTEASEtalk with your host, V. Renee. I look forward to seeing you again. Deuces.